Hey guys, what's happening? So we're back with more Venom War, with the Venom issue 38 tie-in, where now we find future Dylan getting ready to make a deal with Chthon. And with the way this goes down, it almost seems like they both just pulled a fast one on each other. So with that said, if you're enjoying these videos, be sure to drop a like, subscribe if you're new to the channel, and don't forget to hit that bell up top to get all notifications. Alright, so coming back, we continue with Dylan and Doctor Strange, who've made their way to the Flickering Realms, where now they've been granted the opportunity to speak to Chthon. But as they make their way, Doctor Strange makes sure to give Dylan the heads up on Chthon, because he tells him Chthon is more than a demon. He is to demons what the universe is to humanity. So to say the least, he's letting them know they're stepping into a whole nother league here. But Strange also goes on to say, he will ask you for something in return for his help. It might seem small, but whatever it is will be valuable. So for a moment here, Dylan's like, I have nothing to give, only for Strange to tell him, you have plenty. You have things he has never had, and he will take them if he can. He will twist any deal, take all he can. Be careful, Brock. And as they make their way down, suddenly Dylan recognizes where he is, as Strange and the two girls disappear, and he finds himself back in what seems to be his dystopian future, as he stands before Chthon, who for whatever reason has presented himself to Dylan as if he's got a photo shoot after this meeting with either Prada or Ralph Lauren, not sure. But as Chthon reveals himself here, he tells Dylan that he knows he's come for his help, and he's also aware of this dystopian future being Dylan's fault to some degree, because he tells him, I know why you're here, Dylan Brock. You broke the world. And at this point, Dylan Brock believes that he's been taken back to his future. But at the end of the day, this is just Chthon setting the stage for a bargain. But at the same time, this isn't just an illusion, because Dylan can still very much feel any and everything that happens here. So just moments later, when they hear the machine symbiotes coming, Dylan's asking, is this real? Are we back? Is this real? And Chthon just tells him it's as real as anything. Which is really a way of answering the question without answering the question, because again, all of this just serves the purpose of convincing Dylan that the stakes are real, so Chthon could get the most out of this bargain. Because next, when these symbiote machines show up, Venom already knew that there's 3 incoming, with them sounding just like they remembered. And when they get there, Dylan and Venom know that they're not equipped to take on 3. So Dylan decides to lead them off while loading explosives and using shockwaves, just like they would have in their future in a situation like this. And in this instance, it nearly gets the best of them, just before Chthon steps in to give Dylan a hand and continue their conversation. Because next, Chthon tells him, so let me get this straight. The half symbiote, half machines came along, and you thought nukes would be the answer. So for a moment here, Dylan, he begins to explain more about it, but he stopped right there because Chthon goes on to say, don't sweat it. We've been taking bets on how long it would be before humanity nuked themselves to oblivion. I had my money on 1962. So close, you know? Which again, this is just Chthon trying to throw Dylan off with the wordplay, alongside of the chaotic demonstrations. But right here, Dylan just brings things back to the topic at hand, because he asks, Chthon, will you help us? Will you help me? We have to stop this. So he tells Dylan, I don't know. Your plan is as desperate as it is feeble. Tell me, you went back in time, and you saw your parents, right? When you were there, why didn't you just shoot him? Why not just kill Eddie Brock? Would it not be easier? You can do it now if you want. And I gotta say, the tricky thing here with Chthon is the idea of him presenting Dylan with illusions and blending that in with a real deal and a real opportunity. So even now, Dylan's not sure if he's looking at his actual parents, who he saw not too long ago when he traveled back in time. But once again, as it turns out, Chthon is just asking a question here, because he goes on to tell Dylan that he's asking something of him, but Dylan's not willing to give anything up. But we know that's not true, because before Dylan traveled back in time, he made it very clear that even in the case where this mission is a success, he's not expecting to survive the outcome. And he's very much of that same mind here, because he says, I am. If I thought it would help, I would take my father's life. I would give up my own life in an instant. Which again, for old man Dylan, we know he's willing to give his own life. But I imagine had he done this by killing Eddie Brock, it would have caused much larger ramifications heading forward. Because on top of that, there's certain restrictions that future Dylan has to fall in line with to make sure his mission's a success. Because just going along with the way that Doom described time travel, which is what future Dylan has placed his plan upon, the events that taken place in the past, they're either considered to be dead butterflies or living butterflies, where if it's considered to be dead, that event or that moment isn't significant enough to make a change that will hold in the future. So for old man Dylan, he has a plan that's comprised of him collecting specific items from dead butterfly moments so they can be used in a living butterfly moment to make a change that would stick and prevent his future from ever happening. And I wanted to make sure to bring this up here, because what's more important than Dylan's specific plan is when it's implemented in that living butterfly moment. And I want you guys to keep that in mind here, because we'll come back to that later on. But just keep in mind in the here and now that Dylan's willing to do whatever it takes within those parameters to stop that future from happening. So he tells Chthon, there's nothing I would not give to stop this. So of course Chthon tells him, that's good to know, because he's just setting up Dylan for the negotiations to come. But while they're still here, there's a few things that happen. Because for one, you have Doctor Strange's warnings echoing through Dylan's mind, while at the same time Dylan's trying to figure out if this is some sort of test. But right here, Chthon says, you are no longer human, are you? Honestly, I cannot tell where the human ends and the symbiote begins. And really, there are a few things to keep in mind with Chthon saying this. Because for one, Dylan was never fully human. He was born half human, half symbiote. And secondly, for whatever reason, in the future, things came to the point where Dylan, he can't survive without the Venom symbiote. So as far as Chthon is aware in the here and now, he's just talking to someone who's no longer human. And he's not paying much of any attention to the Venom symbiote. But as the chaos continues, once again, Dylan's thrown into emergency mode when he sees a couple of kids running towards them being chased by the symbiote machines. And it's right here where Chthon makes Dylan an offer, which is conveniently placed in the middle of this chaos, where he tells Dylan, alright, I'll do something. You choose, I'll save them or you. So right away, Dylan doesn't even think about it. He just goes to save the kids because he doesn't know if this is real or not. But what he does know is that he can't just tell Chthon yes here, because that'll just be an extra deal that's going to cost Dylan and not contribute to the future he's trying to prevent. So effectively in this moment, it's almost like Dylan resists the temptation. But as these symbiote machines close in, Chthon slips away and he observes. And for a moment here, he's just watching and waiting for Dylan to beg, change his mind, or falter in his resolve. But that does not happen. So following this, it's here where we head back to Strange, and we find Dylan, who's back, along with Chthon, who's no longer putting on the appearance. And it's here where he tells Strange, you were a fool for coming here. I was before man. I will be after. Why would I involve myself in the downfall of your world? So Strange asks him, does it not bother you that humanity will end without your permission or influence? Which is really just Strange trying to provoke Chthon into giving his assistance, but the Elder God wasn't born last millennium, so he catches it right away. But even still, there's a level of honesty in what Strange is saying, because for Steven, he's seen his future, and he knows of his own failure that'll eventually come. So he tells Chthon, it haunts me. I'm asking that you give us a chance. Give him a chance. He stepped in between you and danger, Chthon. Which again just proves even more how badly they need this. But also in this moment here, Dylan, he checks on Venom, and the symbiote responds by tightening its hold, almost like saying it's still there without saying it's there. And it's a very important detail at this time, because prior to this point, Chthon made it clear that he knows Dylan's not 100% human, though he's not sure where the human ends and the symbiote begins. And it's almost like when Venom noticed this, the symbiote didn't want to say anything else, because now it's time for Chthon to tell Dylan what he wants in exchange for his help. And with how this goes, it is crazy, because they both kind of screw each other over here. Because Chthon says, very well, Dylan Brock, I will help you for a price. So Dylan asked, what will you have of me? So Chthon's like, what do you say, girls? And they just start going off, saying, I will have your first love, and all you know of your mother. I will have the music you know, and your friendships. I will have your taste. I will have your dreams at night. And finally Chthon says, I will have your name, Dylan Brock. And just before Dylan answers, Strange tells him, remember what I said. So Dylan asks Chthon, and if I give you all this, you will infuse your magic in the weapon and send us both back to the Sanctum Sanctorum safe and sound. So Chthon tells him, I will, to where then Dylan's like, I accept. So Chthon reaches out his hand, and he gives Dylan a portion of his chaos magic as he agreed. And just before Dylan and Strange go, Chthon tells him good luck. I find that I hope you will make it, old man. Which is funny because one, it's like Chthon just wants to see where this is gonna go. But also, Chthon's calling him old man, because future Dylan no longer has the name Dylan, let alone Dylan Brock. And after this, when him and Strange make their way back to the Sanctum Sanctorum, safe and sound, it's not until now where the old man starts to realize what exactly is wrong and what exactly is missing. Because right here, Strange tries to wake him up by saying Dylan multiple times and asking him, Dylan, are you okay? Only for the old man to respond by saying, who is Dylan? So now it's kind of like, yep, that's definitely gone. So next Strange asked, oh man, do you still want to continue this journey? So he tells Strange, of course, I just don't know how to get there. So Strange opens the portal for him, but just before the old man steps through, he asks Strange, the girls, who were they? And Strange tells him they were all him, I think. Which right there is what I was talking about as far as Chthon getting over on him. Because with having the little girls throwing all the extra requests, it allowed Chthon to take way more than he would have had it just been him. So from here as the old man steps through the portal, he tells Strange, thank you. I don't quite remember your name, but thank you, wizard. And as he leaves, that right there just lets Dr. Strange know that he was truly a friend, since giving up his friendships was part of the bargain. So following this, next he just finds himself walking for days while asking himself, where is he? What am I supposed to do? He walks and he curses the gods, yet he keeps going. And it comes to the point where on the 7th day, Venom tells him, we have been here before. I recognize that tree. So right here, the old man, he loses it for a moment because he's like, what trick is this? Are we walking in circles? I can't do this anymore. I can't walk any further. I'm done. But then he realizes the world's gonna go on with or without him. So what else can he do but continue? But as he goes on, we're told he does not feel the eyes watching him, nor does he feel the subtle shift in the world. The hunger screams inside him, and somewhere, someone is listening. The old man feels safe. The old man feels welcome. And this whole time that he's moving, he keeps saying, I am old man. I am Venom. I broke the world, but I am going to undo it. Almost as if he's speaking from what's left of him at this moment. But this welcome feeling ends up leading him to this small cabin, where the front door is open, so he steps in, and he feels at home. And there's just one person who's in here, but behind them, there's this table full of food. And of course, the old man's hungry. But Venom doesn't like this one bit, cause something don't feel right. So the old man sits down and he starts stuffing his face. But this whole time, he can't taste anything. Because much like his name, that was also part of the deal. But then it's here where Venom feels someone looking through their mind. And this person who's searching through the old man's head, they're not able to find a name, no mother, no friends, only a purpose. Glorious purpose. But at this point, the stranger, they've crossed the line enough to offend the old man and bring out Venom. And it's here where they discover that this stranger was Loki, who just wanted to take a peek in there, that's all. But yeah, even though this old man lost a whole lot by making this deal with Chthon, because he's not completely human, half symbiote. This allowed the Venom symbiote to slide in under the radar, which made it so that both sides of this deal were actually getting over on each other. But as it stands in the here and now, we really don't know how much was lost in the case of Old Man Venom, or even how Loki will fit into the next stage of this going forward. But all of this has set things up where it has me on the edge of my seat. And so now real quick, I'm going to give a special shout out to all the patrons. Thank you guys for all of your support. And for anyone who's new here, who wants more information on how to support the channel, I got a link below where you can go to patreon.com/dopespill. But that'll do it for this one, guys. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below, and we'll do it again on the next one. Alright, later.